Hey guys, so I have Ayrton Fox on this call today. But would you like to introduce yourself so people know more about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just go through like a little shortened version to kind of get to the point. But obviously, yeah, Serge said Ayrton Fox. I'm 18, uh, living in Australia right now. Definitely want to move to a bit more of a suitable time zone soon. But started growing my agency February this year. Got out of school exactly today last year.
Wow,
So first year out of school, typical kind of single mother story, all that type of stuff. And we're here now.
beautiful, beautiful. What made you quit school? Or did you finish school and then took a break?
Yeah, so I finished school like this day last year when I was 17. I already had kind of like a drop shipping like thing going on the side. So it kind of came up at the worst time when I started making money with that was like during exams. And I was kind of like, it's kind of like, like fuck this, like I can go do my own thing. So almost gave me no option to do anything else other than what it is I'm doing now. So that that was kind of just what forced me down this route.
Okay. How much money were you closing making with your dropshipping revenue? Like how far did you scale it?
So it was like a little backstory on it. It was those brands that will like spam people and say like DM us to collab, those ones. That's what I was running. Now I was obviously it wasn't as like mass scale as some of them, but I was making around about 2K rev a week. So that went well. When Meta went down though, as you can imagine, you have to send out a lot of comments and stuff like that. Shit hit the fan. Couldn't send out any comments. I was like, nah, I need something more sustainable, man. Like, yeah.
But I guess that like even if it's 2K a week, it's pretty profitable, right? How much was your cost?
Yeah, so I was running an offer where basically I said all you have to do is pay shipping. So I'd have like a $20 shipping, and I'd be selling like $2 products on off of like AliExpress. So I was like, and I was paying like 1 cent, like 1 Philippine peso per comment.
Wow.
So I was spending only like, $120 a week on like client acquisition, I guess.
Jeez. So you were essentially doing outbound to sell products.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
That's funny.
Yeah,
No,
it's
I didn't know people were selling products with those bots. I thought they were maybe just promoting like a page or something, but now that you say it, I'm like, wow, it could definitely be something that works really well.
yeah, you just gotta get the right offer. That's pretty much it.
Cool. So what did you so okay, cool. So Facebook ends up, restricting what you were doing, so you couldn't really acquire attention as easily as before. So when did you get into the agency space, and what was your first, like what was your first thing? What course did you go to? What did you learn? Who did you learn from, etc., things like that?
Yeah, so actually, I exactly remember the day where the kind of light bulb went off. I was on a call with like my dropshipping mentor, and he recommended me this monk mode video. And obviously, you know who that comes from. Went kind of down that rabbit hole and was like,
Mention him. Mention him.
yeah, yeah, Aman. And like, I'll be honest, he's the top of the space for like a reason, right? In terms of like YouTube and all that stuff. Obviously shut down his agency recently, but kind of seeing him and how he held himself and like his story obviously resonates with a lot of people. So kind of went down that rabbit hole a little bit and was like, right, let's just give this a shot, right? This sounds like perfect. I'm already doing kind of the selling an offer to people. Like I'm actually already selling people. So I wanted to go down that route. Had a kind of a course plug at the time, where I was just like, probably getting it maybe a little bit cheaper than what it's kind of marketed for. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. I'm like an impatient as fuck person. So I started doing outreach with UGC actually like late last year. So that was kind of getting a lot of attention. And I kind of realized straight off the bat as well, though, that it was really hard to sell kind of people when you didn't have any kind of what would I say, like experience or anything like that. So kind of went down the route of then starting my agency through Upwork. If that answers your question.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, how has Upwork been for you as a client?
Man, yeah. I say a lot about it, but it's just, if you think about it, when you're beginning, you want to kind of, and this is obviously you're not so much targeting beginners, but when you are beginning, you kind of have to use as much leverage as you can. And if that means like finding a place where people are literally asking and like begging for your services, then why not go that route, right? Just the ultimate point of leverage.
So so for me, one thing that I never understood is like, how do you separate yourself from everybody else who's a freelancer or who can do the job? Like what have you, if you were to like give yourself like 3 nuggets on like how you make Upwork work? Because I know a lot of people who are on Upwork who don't get shit. So like how to make it work?
Well, I think look, like you said, you give like 3 nuggets, but I personally think that the way that you can differentiate yourself is just by offering exactly what people are looking for. And right now, obviously, like the short form content offer is going nuts. So I originally started off with like social media management because everyone wants like their social media to look nice, and it's low ticket, so you can just say, yeah, this, and outsource really easy. With the short form content offer, for example, the way like you would be able to differentiate yourself, or even if you're doing ads, is just, yeah, man, seeing what people want and just like literally just fucking giving to them. Like that's the only way. Some people will be like, and also just like not being stupid, like have a nice looking profile, don't just have no case studies, be creative. If you're offering a convenience-based offer, go get an editor to edit up some shit, use their edits, that's basically how you differentiate yourself.
Yeah. So I guess it pretty much works the same as if you were going to sell anything through outreach. Like, one of the things that I preach a lot is just give the market what the market wants instead of trying to sell something that you were taught in a course or in a program, right? Okay, cool, perfect. So so let's go back a little bit and we'll go back to these offers and what you're seeing success with, right? Like how did you first hear of me?
Yeah, so it was through word of mouth initially. And I actually saw it's kind of like almost a full circle moment where I saw your case study with like a Ma, and I was like, all right, like gave you the money, and basically signed up within a matter of like 2 days. So that's how I heard about you. I thought, look, let's do it,
Yeah. What were you struggling with before you joined?
It was definitely just wanting to expand on my offer. Originally when I joined, I was kind of pushing the TikTok ads because that's what was like popping up at the time. And we jumped on a call together, and you were basically like, look, why are you doing ads if you're offering content, right? And that was like the first like iteration of it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. No, I remember. Yeah, a lot of people signed up because of that interview with Amar, right? And a lot of people will be seeing this interview too, and they might probably want to sign up because of this, this offer that we're about to discuss. But I want people to understand that like eventually offers are like evolutionary. Like how can I say it? It's like the qualities that made us survive 1,000 years ago and thrive, not what's going to make us thrive in 2023. You know what I mean? So like, even if I'm making this interview with you, I want people to still understand, like, guys, do not think that, oh, we're going to copy what Ayrton is doing and then, oh, like we're guaranteed success. Because to be honest, 6 months from now, people may exactly do what you're doing and still not see success. Just like when you joined the program and you wanted to push TikTok, offer. You know, you were pushing it even before you joined the program, right? And you weren't seeing results. Like, well, why? Because it's you know, there's levels, like there's levels of awareness and levels of sophistication in any marketplace, right? So like, if you're early in the marketplace and you're giving the market what the market wants, eventually, if there are thousands and thousands of people offering this thing, well, the market is going to get more sophisticated, where the thing that are seeing success with today, if it's offered 90 days, 6 months from now, the market will be like, yeah, we've already tried this already. Like, unless you're willing to add on other mechanisms that makes it an offer that is, you know, if I may use the word, a lot thicker.
Yeah.
We don't want it, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's just something that I wanna emphasize on this call, because I don't want people to believe that like I don't want people to be blind, because I swear to God, this industry is full of people who are just blind. Like, I don't want to necessarily create like a type of following that just believe me for everything. Like, they just see what I say and then they copy paste. No. Guys, use your critical thinking and think like a business is there's a certain protocol to follow it to building a successful business, right? It's not copy and pasting, you know. But
It'll
anyway,
be dynamic. Like,
yeah.
and then like to touch on that, that's like a major piece of like advice. Obviously, I've seen like small amount of success compared to other players in the game, but it's just about just think, you know, just sit down, take the time to think, you know, don't go offering like Facebook ads. Like, you seriously think the 10,000 people in a month's course are like not going to be, you're not going to be competing with them or something? Like, same thing with the TikTok offer. And again, like you said, you don't want people to blindly follow or blindly believe everything that you say. Because I'll admit, like, even when I joined the program, I was kind of just like flashed, like what do you call it? Like a shiny object kind of syndrome, right? And I went back to the drawing board and I was like, right, so what do I learn from here that I can actually use? And this is kind of where I also gave myself no choice. You know, I kind of just shut myself out of everything and went like, right, I need to make this work. But again, it's just you know, think, guys. That's pretty much all I can say.
100%. My goal would be like to help people like just know how to win inevitably. You know what I mean? Because it's like people use courses, programs like crutches, but it's like Elon Musk is not looking at a YouTube video to figure out his business plan. You know what I mean? Like, he's definitely like being creative and understands the basis of everything and creates his own goals and his own mission from his understanding. Like, it's not, you got to become the creator at some point. You can't just rely on someone else to like give you ideas. Of course, when you're new, when you're a baby, you kind of need to gather a lot of data points, but at some point you need to gather so much from everyone. I'm not saying don't listen to these interviews or to a lot of interviews, but listen to it and make your own hypotheses and go to the marketplace and test it, right?
Yeah. So with that, then I kind of want to ask you, do you believe, and this is like a concept that I see many different entrepreneurs like have their own opinions on, but are you someone that thinks that there are a set of fundamentals where if you can follow them, then you're inevitably going to see success? Like, do you believe, right, like say like volume negates like and outreach, you know, that's a fundamental.
Yeah.
So like, what's your kind of stance on that?
100%. I think I'm getting sick. I think, to be honest, there are a few key principles that if you understand them, you can make money inevitably in any recession, in any bull market. Like, you will fundamentally win. And I think like, even with my recent success, I've been like getting these like flashbacks of things that I already knew, but now I'm like, wow, these are if everyone, because everyone knows, but everyone doesn't understand, right? I think for me, the number one thing is understanding that if you can learn more than the next person, that person will be willing to pay you to skip the learning. That's one. So businesses are created on information advantages, right? Meaning, if I know how to do outreach better than someone else, maybe because from experience, or maybe I watched one of my own YouTube videos and I learned how to do it, I can go to someone who doesn't know how to do it and charge them money for that thing. That's universal. As you keep learning more than the specific niche, a specific group of people, you can go back to that group of people, and be like, hey, for X amount, I can exchange the thing that you care more about than the money you have. That's rule number one. That's why even in my current situation, even if I may be making the kind of money I'm making today, I always have this anxiety that like, hey, if I don't become better, then I can't get to the next level. So that's the second thing is money follows attention. Like people watching this video could literally make me a lot of money. And why am I sitting here at 6 p.m. when I really don't have to, we don't have to have this call. But the reason why I'm making this video is because if I give people something to consume, they're paying me attention. If they pay me attention, then I can make them an offer that they can't refuse. So money follows attention. Right?
So to recap, one is offer something that people are willing to part ways with their money for, meaning that they value what information or what mechanism or product or service it is that you have more than what they currently have in their bank account. And then number two, money follows attention.
How can you get attention from a marketplace?
Yeah.
The way you actually get attention from the marketplace is you give them something they want.
Yeah.
That goes back to the first thing, because so I have this new client who just signed up and, they're making a few millions a year and that they're a trademark service, right? And the first thing that I consulted them on is people aren't really there isn't a crazy volume of research on trademarking services, right? But people would still, there are probably a big audience of business owners who are looking to exit their businesses. So instead of trying to just create content around trademark services, why don't you create content around how to structure your organization in a manner that you can actually eventually exit it, right? Legal structures, all these things, creating holding companies to avoid to pay taxes on the capital, or let's say if you have a bunch of money in your bank account in your main business, it's not good to keep $500,000, $1 million in your business bank account, because if you were, let's say, Ayrton, you're unhappy with my service and you decide to sue me, well, if I have $1 million in my bank account, that's at risk, right? The judge could just rule out that, hey, you're going to owe this person $100,000 and I can't really refuse it because they can just freeze it. So like if you create content around, hey, how to avoid being sued and getting your money ripped from you, then create a holding company and throw that money to the holding company and have that company own client acquisition.io. And then if you ever need to, do other investments, you can lend the money. So like I told them to create content around the thing that people care about. And eventually they're going to get attention because they're giving the market what the market wants. And from there, they can make offers of protecting these people's brands, their trademark services, they can sell then, right? So like that's rule number one. So like money follows attention. I got this from Grant Cardone, but it's only now that I'm actually understanding it, even though I already knew it, but I couldn't really understand it until I was in it. You know what I mean? Like since I've grown, I'm starting to grow the audience slowly, but like, I'm like, oh my God, like how can I get attention every single day? Because it's literally money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we could talk about a lot more things, but like those two things, it's like learn and figure out what the market wants and just learn it on their behalf and either build services or build, information products to get them the thing they lack. And then just get attention. Simple. Yeah.
So with that then, so talking about figuring out what the market wants, I guess to kind of keep going into that kind of rabbit hole, what are the kind of things you want to look out for? Obviously, I've like my own opinions and mechanisms that I use to kind of figure it out, Upwork being one. Obviously you can't work for everything, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so like how would I go about figuring out what the market cares about?
Yeah. So how would you do that?
It's pretty simple. Like if you are a competitor of mine and you want to sell to people who are running service-based businesses, I would go on my YouTube page and I would go on most popular video and I would sell the most popular topic.
Yeah, that's
Literally just created an ad today around this process. So, or if I was an e-com I would literally go on Chase Chappelle's because he's been going crazy with TikTok. And I would go on his YouTube page and look at the most popular video. You'll see that his most popular video is how to create highly converting creatives or TikTok ad creatives, right? And if you want to sell a TikTok or an offer that's really killing it for ecom, the best thing killing it today is UGC. It's not TikTok ads, it's the creatives used in the ads. Like that's the most important thing across the board on any single advertiser. Like if you speak to any advertiser, all of them are like, back in the day it was like, oh, target this interest, stack these interests and blah, 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 blah. But today, have the right creatives, let Facebook target broad and let the creative pick the
work.
Right, that's it.
And that's, like, I don't know if this is a light bulb thing going off for me just now, but we're talking about business fundamentals, right? And you obviously spoke about money follows attention. And the number one thing that they talk about in ecom now to find products is TikTok made me buy it, right? And if you look at that and you bring it over to the B2B side of things, it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, literally. It's like, so a lot of people pick their niches, pick their offers based on just hypotheses. Like, oh, like, when I went through Sam Owen's consulting accelerator, he was like, hey, look at all your expertise, the sum of the things and then go, create a service and then go to a group and then talk to like 40 people and then figure out if they want it or not. But like, hey, Sam, like, no, that's not efficient. Why would you want to just hypothesize and then go sell something and just speak to people? That's so inefficient. Look at who has the most views. Look at what topic has the most amount of views. Just create a service around the highest viewed thing. Problem.
It's literally, that's it though. Like I mean, look, again, we're obviously kind of oversimplifying it, but if you see what people are watching and what people want to know, they will give you an infinite amount of money. Like you were just talking about, if they value what you have or what you can teach them based off, you finding out what they've been viewing, they're just going to give you their bank account, right?
So essentially, if we can summarize this with one word, is becoming a better observer of the market. It's not even understanding at this point. It's just being able to take a step back and knowing where to look and observing the game. Who's making the most amount of money? Why are they making the most amount of money? What is it, the thing that they're talking about the most? Or is there any consistency around the thing they're talking about, right? But yeah, if you can become an observer of the marketplace, you will know what to give the people in order to in order for them to exchange money for your value.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you look at a prime example of something that I've personally observed is Aman Gadzi again, right? The number one pieces of content that are kind of popping off right now, the male self-improvement stuff, right? And guess what he is launching? He is launching like a webinar kind of series about how to become a high value male.
Because he saw what's happening with Andrew Tate, and he's like, and he's a great marketer. Iman is an amazing marketer, and I mean, you can learn a lot from him. You know what I mean? Like, he may not necessarily be building like the best services, but he's one of the best person at getting people's attention. And guess what? Attention is where the money is at. So he will make billions of dollars more than I will, because he's able to tap into ideas and topics that the mass market actually is interested in, right? High value men, like, whatever, getting girls, all these things, having, a few watches, having status, right? Status is the number one thing that sells, right? So if you can, like, he's not even selling businesses anymore. He's not selling business opportunities. Like, if you look at his competitors, they're like, hey, why don't you build a 10 to 20K a month business? And then so you can be location free, blah, 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 blah. But Iman is selling status. He's selling to become a high value man. And guess what? The way you become a high value man is to buy his course that's going to tell you how to make money online And I would do the same thing if I had his audience, right? But today I
Mm.
don't do it because I'm not necessarily someone I'm not selling to mass market yet. So I'm just solving people's business problems. So, but like, yeah, I mean, if you want to go to, if there is one person to learn from in the info space, in the B2C in space, is Iman.
Yeah, absolutely. He's
Yeah.
like even still looking at his strategies on YouTube, the way that he kind of funnels his audience. Look, this is like very specific, but he'll have the one, how to make money online business, like for beginners, right? How to, it's like a tutorial, right? But every single video, and that video is a VSL for his course, right? But every other video is saying, become a high value man. How do you do that, etc., etc. Well, if you want to learn, watch my VSL, and it's basically just a video funneling them, right? So that's specifics, technicals, but so
Yeah, he gives the people what they want to hear, but then he plugs in the thing that he needs to sell them, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, this is a good conversation. Yeah, it will be really good to post this. Looking forward to feedback from people. Cool. So let's talk about, so you jumped in the program, and then what are the main issues you faced at first? Like, yeah, well, like what are what are the issues that you faced back then? And what was the thing that solved them?
Yeah, so I was actually thinking about this question before we jumped on, and to begin with, like the number one issue, we already kind of touched on it, but to go like a bit more like exclusively into it, it would be that the number one issue was trying to market an offer to people that aren't necessarily looking for it. Like on Upwork, you can literally, they can be like, hey, I need you to make content for me, and you'd be like, guess what? I can make content for you, right? Super easy. But if you're hitting up someone saying, hey, I can make content for you, they're like, why the fuck do I care? Like, I don't give a fuck, right? So that's the number one problem that I had, and it's something that now I'm kind of realizing the levels of awareness within the market. That's the module that you have in the program. There is, man, like if I could just tell everyone in business that's probably the one thing I'd kind of tell them if they're struggling with their offer. So it's a great piece there, and yeah, that's the main kind of problem I had, just trying to get people to see the value within it. And it helps now that the market is a little bit more aware as well, right? The market's a little bit more aware. So that's kind of something that's been helped. But in terms of kind of the program, look, it's really just like all the valuable insights, seeing what the community kind of, what beliefs they're having, what successes they're having within the space. And yeah, let me know if that kind of answers it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you can probe a little bit more into that.
So, yeah, I mean, we can talk about the market awareness. I think, yeah, I think the more, so it's as bad to jump in a market that is completely new, that isn't even problem aware,
Mm,
right? As it is bad to jump in a market where the market is like, not only just are they aware of the problem, but they're aware of the solution, and they're aware of even the outcome that this solution being offered by thousands of people could produce, right? So just as bad as it is, it's as bad to be the first as it is to be the last, right? So right
mm,
now for you, one of the things that recently, and we can talk about your success, but you just had essentially your first 5-figure month, right? But the reason why the success, I guess, from what you just said, is that people are actually becoming aware of like, hey, if I don't have a lot of attention and a lot of a bigger audience online, then I can't really sell my products.
yeah.
Right. So that's one. So like, yeah, cool. That helped you out. And then the other thing you just mentioned is just seeing other people in the program, I guess, winning. Because, I remember you messaged me when I think it's Jirov, when he jumped in the community and started killing it with a short form. That's when you also really like picked up the pace too, right? Because
Mm,
I guess that just proved that like, oh shit, there's actually something here, right?
mm.
So would you say that like seeing other people winning with something also pushed you to have more belief in your offer?
I'm kind of the type of person where even seeing other people win I have like this mental thing of like, fuck, that should be me, man. Like So, and it's look, call it toxic, whatever you want. But and not that I'm not happy for other people, but it fucking burns, like it hurts. It actually hurts. And that's just how it is. I'll be gracious and say, well done, but that should have fucking been me, bro. Like, so that's kind of where it comes from for me. Like, I know, and I'll give you like a specific example. Like you said, I've hit my first kind of 5-figure month, and I'm seeing people in the chat close, deals similar to mine. And I'm going to bed last night, I'm like checking my phone before I'm going to bed, brushing my teeth, usual shit. And I'm like seeing these wins, and like 2 or 3 different people got new short form kind of clients. And I'm thinking like, what the fuck? Like, I can't go to sleep now, dude. Like, what? Like, I'm like, I can't sleep. Like, what? So that's one thing that I think, like, just like a broad kind of overview of that is like, you just got to kind of find what like instinctively motivates you. And it's whether it comes from a toxic place of like, fuck, like that should be me, then you just got to do that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just are too worried about, it's normal. Like, it's this the way where this humans are, we have this thing that like it has to be about us. You know what I mean? So if you're not the superstar, then you're the little bitch. So it's like, you better figure out a way to be a superstar, because or else, like, I don't care. And for me, that's why, a lot of people, for me, I think that my motivation has nothing to do with money. I genuinely want to be the best. I want to do better than everyone. And not only everyone, I want to do actually better than myself. Because it's, I mean, for sure, there's great validation, or there's great feelings to seeing other people approve your success. But there's nothing even greater than like, seeing the shit you're building and be like, what the fuck have I built, bro? This is it. I mean, like, proving yourself right is a million times better than having other people approve of your success. So for me, I'm like, hey man, like, I'm just trying to prove myself right every day. I'm trying to make $1 million a month, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna prove myself right. And then will I keep going after? Because at some point, man, like, once you figure out this game, you will be winning more than others. So like, this negative motivational thing that you have, you're gonna have to essentially like step to the next level, where you're essentially just winning because wanting to win more, because you're intrinsically in love with the game. You know what I mean? Like, because at some point you're going to be doing essentially better than everyone in your environment. And then, well, if you don't have anyone to like compete with, then are you going to just decide to coast? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think you have to also have this awareness of like upgrading what your motivations are, right? So
yeah, adding on that, kind of getting to the 5-figure a month mark, again, not somewhere where I'm gonna stay, nor is it somewhere that I want to stay. It's this thing of shifting the mindset to like, now I've instantly gone to my team, like, right, it's now about, we've proved it. It's now about fucking being the best we can. Like, it's now about, you guys are in this for the long haul. I'm in this for the long haul. Let's knuckle down. I'm not going to accept anything less than the best. And that's essentially kind of where you kind of transcend the level. I mean, I know for myself, but one thing that I think would be like kind of valuable to know is, one thing that I always struggled with was when you kind of hit these like milestones, right? Like you hit like a crazy month last month, right? What is your kind of mindset? Obviously it'd be good to go out and celebrate, but sometimes you don't. Like, I know myself, I've hit this mark. I'm like, I've been knowing that this is going to happen, right? But is there a point where you're like, okay, let me just let myself go out, have a drink, chill, not go ham, but like, what's your kind of thought process there? Because I know myself, I struggle to let myself.
I mean, to be honest, I've been going out a lot lately. Like, I tell you, I go crazy, the only time I go crazy is when I'm traveling, right? Because then I'm traveling with people who are also making money, so it's like, today, it's like even if I wanted to go wild, it's like I don't have the type of people who have the kind of like have the kind of like money that I can play with and not be worried. So like if we go out, like I'll probably just cover the whole bill, but it's like I don't necessarily just want to be, because it's like you can't also, so that's the thing with and I'll go back to answering your question. It's like even if you're successful, a lot of people will not necessarily want to take advantage of you, but it's like you can't really experience the success, the level of your success, unless you're surrounded with people as successful as you, right?
Yeah.
So as an example, if I want to go out and let's say like I want to spend like 5 figures or on a night out, like I can do that, but it's like, do I want to necessarily like get people with me like used to that
Mm.
lifestyle when they're not even making 10K in 3 months? Like, you
Yeah.
know, I don't necessarily, so like when I go out, I'll still like just generally just maybe drink a little bit, have fun, you know, just vibe with friends. But yeah, and to answer your question, is there a point where you have to like start enjoying your success? I think there is, and that moment is when you're making money without having to work. And to
Mm.
be honest, for me right now, it's like I'm at a point where like the only work that I do is, you know, consult clients, answer questions, answer question from clients, dictate operationally like what are the things that need to be set in place so we can improve the customer experience. But then my team
Mm.
goes out to implement, and then YouTube. Those are really the three things that I do: answer clients' issues, improve our operations, do YouTube. Besides that, like everything is taken care of. So like I don't have to sell much and write emails, I guess. Still
Mm.
write the emails. So like now it's like I can still do like 20% of what I do every month, and we'll still be growing month over month, right? So like now I actually have to force myself to enjoy, because if I just stay into this mode of like just produce more money, more money every month, then I actually end up being lost into the sauce,
Mm.
into the illusion that like business is all that matters. When business success is like it's like the stepping stone to fucking just living life, right?
Mm.
So like, you know, for me, one of the things that the reason why I try to go out every now and then is because I realize that like I'm in this little prison of mine of just productivity and being the best. But then I forget that the reason why I even got into business was so that I can be free to live. But now I've turned my life into like locking myself and restricting myself from living so I can produce. So it's like,
Mm.
what is the priority here? Is it being productive so I can say show off that I make a lot of money, or is it being able to have an amazing time while I'm alive on this earth, right? So to be honest, like I'll probably go out once a week, just chill, nothing crazy. I don't like to drink too much because it just affects my performance. But yeah, there's nothing like as great as just going out with your friends and just, you know, getting a little tipsy and just, you know, dancing a little bit, you know, just having fun, you know, doing dumb shit and going back the week and just pulling in crazy amounts of money, and then going, you know, like there's, bro, you gotta enjoy, and you know, at some for sure, but like these past 2 years I didn't do anything though. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I
Mm.
spend a lot of time locked in. I spend a lot of time. I don't have much friends. I don't have many friends. I don't, I didn't get into any relationship in the last few years. Um, like everything else is just my business is my life, you know, but I don't want to just be the business guy. I generally just want to be Serge, and business is just something that I do. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Do you feel like there's a next challenge for you? Obviously, you want to scale to 1 million a month, but is there any external kind of challenge?
I just want to, I think, so I think for sure, I think, you know, I think certain milestones, I'll just take a break a little bit. Like if we hit 1 million, I'll probably just want to like take a break and just like standard, like normalize my success. One of the biggest struggle that I have right now is I don't think I'm used to the type of money that I make. So like, I think I'm still like a little bit like, I still, my mind, like, I don't, I can't, I haven't really spent I don't live like I produce, right? So like for me, I sometimes I still think I'm scared little bitch, and I'm just afraid of am I even really successful? So I think for me, my challenge is to be less worried. You know what I mean? Because I think
Mm.
there's two different players in this game. There's people who produce to be able to have a lifestyle, and there's people who just produce because they're producers, right? So for me, I'd love to be in that second phase of the second, category of people and just produce because I love it, but also still be enjoying life, man. Like today I rented a Wraith, right? Because I'm shooting
Mm.
ads. And let's say it's a $250,000 car, 300 grand. It's like, technically I can't afford such a car. But right now, if you were to ask me like to make that kind of purchase, I would like lose my mind. And it's like,
Mm.
why? Like it's just money, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, actually it's as hard to get used to the money that you make as it is to make it. So it's actually another challenge. So for me, subconsciously, I know that like I'm not as abundant when it comes to like spending. Yeah.
Not a bad thing though. I guess dollar saved is a dollar earned.
To be honest, it is bad because it's like then I'm still operating from scarcity if you really think about it.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point, because talking about the transcending levels kind of thing, that's the next thing. It's not like I'm doing it out of like fuck, like I got to make something work, right? It's like I want to be the producer now. It's not producing because you have to, it's producing because you're a producer. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good kind of thought.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's tricky, man. It's tricky. This life is, I guess it's just a journey, it's like you figure yourself out. The thing you were chasing, end up getting it, and then you end up realizing like, hey, that wasn't actually as fancy as I was imagining it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Oh, so tell us about, what has been really working for you. So like you launched this short form content offer. In the program, we kind of position it a little differently. Have you been also leveraging the fact that, you need to add more mechanisms to consult people, maybe on converting that attention into sales, or are you just purely just still focusing on like helping them redistribute their content and helping them to grow their audience?
Yeah. So I spoke a little bit with you. Well, before we jumped on the call, I was talking a little bit about how I was setting off a proposal. I got a verbal agreement to go ahead with a kind of a new like beta offer that I want to kind of do, right? And that's creating content similar to like Aman, where you're doing the 7 tips to do this, right? Because then from that, and this is going like into detail, but I'll zoom back out again in a second. You can then just like take those 7 tips, put them into short form, right? And still charge the same amount, if not more, right? Like more, because you are offering the YouTube consulting, like YouTube money's real. So that's that. But because I have been selling to like, Upwork, I'll be honest, like they're not exactly the most well off kind of market. Like you can't choose who you're gonna, apply to.
Yeah.
So that's that. But I had the realization that, well, and this is why I'm telling my team that we really need to lock in now, because if these people that are making, the 5 to 10K a month, are paying me, 1.2K, 1.5K a month just to do their content, then you best believe that there's going to be people making 100K a month, 50K a month, whatever it is, that are going to pay that much, if not more. And so I think, again, another kind of level that I've gone to in terms of my mindset is, just basically going up the funnel and seeing like, in terms of like what you're offering and going, right, so content is like, I guess, top of funnel, right? I don't know. I've never done advertising. So like, I'm just, kind of given my, like how I visualize it and how I see it is, you've got the content that's generating the attention, right? And if I can say to them, then, right, I'll also place an appointment set for you, for example, right? And to convert that audience, then you're not just going, right, I'm gonna, you have to close, say you're selling like a $15,000 program, right? And I'm charging you 15K. I say you have to close one client from your content, right, to get your money back for the month, right? And they're going to be like, yeah, of course I can do that. That's what I'm doing anyway, without the audience. Then you can say, well, how about I place a setter for you? And then that way, you can make back, like an infinite amount. And I can say, look, I think I can make you this much per month. And this is where it then goes, do you see how valuable a 6-month deal here? If you're paying me, 15 by 6, whatever that is, like, I don't know, like
A lot of money.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not, we're businessmen, not maths people, but point is, you can then say to them, like, over a 6-month deal, do you think that like 90K is worth the million that you're going to generate? right? And they're going to be like, you know, and that's bridging the gap, right? Obviously, like kind of a sales tactic, but that's kind of where you got to kind of think, because with this content offer, especially that we're getting now more sophisticated. If I had said that to someone earlier, that you can do that through content, like literally like a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, that'd have been like, yeah, I see how that works, but like, again, I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, market's maturing, and you're able to say to them that. So adding the kind of mechanism there, and I kind of lost sight of what your original question was.
Converting,
But
yeah. So like, yeah, it's exactly that. I was asking if you're adding conversion mechanisms to convert that audience, the new audience, you're getting them through the redistributing their long form content into shorts. Is attaching like, you know, conversion, you know, mechanism like appointment setters or group. Yeah. So I guess you're doing it, so that's good. Because a lot of people are you know, are pushing this short form content offer, but they don't really understand, they don't see the whole system as a whole. Like, yes, it's good to make me famous, it's good to get me a lot of views, but it's like, can we make money, please? You know what I mean? So for me, that's why I've been telling, like, hey, if you're gonna push short form content, it's good. Yeah, it's easy. TikTok shorts, reels are gonna give you a lot of awareness, a lot of like impressions. But like, okay, cool. Now let's think about how do we convert that attention into actual money, right? So yeah, like for me, that's everyone in the program, like I need them to be offering that. Like it's like, or else it's too much of a convenience offer and it's too much utility. Like there isn't like anything separating you from other people. So like whoever can make a really solid offer,
yes, yeah.
you can charge so much money. Like a lot of people are like, oh, but why would someone pay me 3-5K a month just to like to do shorts? And like, you don't get it. You don't get it. Like you don't get it. Rule number one or rule number two that I said, money follows attention. If you're redistributing this interview that we're having and people are consuming it, then guess what? They're paying us attention. So then that attention can be converted into money. So like whoever creates the most amount of stuff to consume is whoever gets the most amount of attention. So if you come to me, you know, and by the way, like I see get a lot of people pitching me short form content. I'd rather if people stopped pitching me content, please. Like I'm teaching people the importance of content. I definitely know that I need to be repurposing a lot of my stuff if I'm not doing choice. So please don't spam me. But like, how can people don't understand that? Like, if you get me 100,000 views a month, if I get just 10 people from, which is like what, like less than how, like this is like 0 point something, right?
Yeah.
If you just get me 10 people to buy, like I'm making 6 figures. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, why wouldn't I pay you 5K a month? You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, short form content itself, just giving me views is not enough, but for me, it would be enough because I know how to convert attention into money. But like for someone who doesn't know, who doesn't come from this world of appointment setting, outbound prospecting, booking sales calls, then they won't really understand it until it happens. So that's why you got to generally offer the awareness. So short form content redistribution, I think, is just like paid advertising. It's just that the way you get attention is free. You don't have to pay Facebook to do it or TikTok. They'll just spread your content to people for free. And then you just convert that attention into money with setters. So yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So what have you learned since you know, scaling to your first 10K a month? Like, so like, what is one thing that changed from I mean, I guess you've already covered it, the fact that, you know, you told your team that it's now time to, you know, go double down on this thing and because you realize that, you know, if you're making 10K a month from Upwork, and this is the next thing that I want to ask you, like, why haven't you gone to social outreach? You know, because like, why? Because you figure out that you can make money from just people wanting the offer. Why don't you go out there and create attention and awareness around your offer and just sell more at a higher ticket?
Yeah, so couple different things. So I obviously, well, not obviously, but I have my own YouTube channel and I talk a little bit about how I'm scaling. I haven't posted in ages, but I talk a little bit about how I'm scaling the offer as well. Even from that content, I'm getting people message me and say, hey, can you do this for me as well? So that's the first thing. I'm not even directly saying that, right? But people are still coming and saying, hey, like I have my own digital marketing agency. We're doing 30, 50K a month. how can you blow me up, right? That's kind of how it goes, obviously, because I'm making SMMA style videos.
Oh.
But in terms of like not leveraging social outreach, look, it's one of those things where I'm basically just getting appointment setters right now. So I'm working on that front, because look, I will say that the conversational kind of, or the way that you book a prospect on a call with this offer is 10 times different to what it is on ecom, right? If you're doing ads, for example. So you need to like keep that kind of in mind. I don't know if that's obvious or not. And, you know, for you, obviously it would be, but other people pushing the offer, I'm going to say, don't go pitching in the first message. That is not going to get you the best results. And I'm just going to say that because I tried that and I was getting like 0.1% reply rate, and obviously people are doing better than that, but I found that you know, you have to build a relationship. Like you have to build a relationship. You're not going to go up to a girl in a bar and say, hey, guess what, like I'm the, you know, nine out of 10 of the girls that I've slept with said I'm the best, so like, you know, they're going to be like, get fucked, right? So that's a little bit like a kind of thing there. But in terms of like even Facebook and building an audience there, and this is something you can probably like help me out with, is I find Facebook to be the most toxic shit in terms of like the coaches space. Like I just honestly, I can't handle I can't block out the kind of mental fog getting hit up 20 times a day. And also, you know, trying to reach out to people, and it would be different for like agency owners, I feel, but for coaches especially, they're already aware on that, right?
Yeah, they're that's what they're doing, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I guess a lot of the people doing outreach for this offer are definitely doing it mostly on IG, right? I think Facebook works, but because it's not this this offer won't work as good as like these coaching coaches type of thing, because they're broke. They don't really have much. They don't really have a lot of like value. I mean, they have value, but it's just regurgitated value. So it's like everybody has heard it a million times. So I feel like this offer is going to work for people who are genuinely themselves, people who are just could literally build something special, not something that they learned from someone and they just want to say it again. It's like, no, like generally be your own person, have a great persona that people will actually follow, because there is a specific type of character that people actually want to look up to, right? So if you can like figure out a way to source that on Instagram and just maybe find a niche, you know, there are a bunch of niches. Like you don't even need to space in this money making niche. Like you can be like fitness coaches, people who are, you know, pushing or running podcasts and things like that. But yeah, no, cool. So yeah, so what's your next goal? What's your revenue? What's your next revenue goal?
Yeah, so funnily enough, and this is, yeah, it's gonna sound funny. My original goal was to get to 6,500 a month before the end of the year. Just a goal. I did like kind of a lifestyle figure, and I was like, yeah, like if I spend 30% of my profits on living and stuff like that, obviously it's a very small amount. Then I'll be like good to go and launch again, because then the other 70% I can spend on the business. But obviously that kind of you know, it was kind of weird when I hit that goal like so fast. It was kind of like this was meant to be harder, you know what I mean? Like this was meant to be a bit more difficult. So I had this kind of week of like, fuck, like what am I kind of doing? This was kind of easy, right? Yeah, it's meant to be challenging. You're meant to like grow from it. But I kind of one of the students in the program, his name's Nick, gifted me like a kind of like a coaching session with some like self-development guy, and he kind of just basically said, look, man, like you just gotta, I don't know, just gave me a bunch of advice and cleared me up. And now I'm thinking like the best thing that I can do, and I remember on our clarity call, you were like, man, you got to set a revenue goal, like you got to set a profit goal, because I was saying like I didn't really like that. I prefer to just build and get to where we're going to go. And with that, like I haven't set a clear revenue goal like I did earlier, but I think it's just now about, again, being the best. And if you do what you're good at and keep building on that, you're going to grow inevitably, and keep, you know, abiding by the principles that you have used to grow. you're going to keep growing. But I think by by the time I turn 19, which is in like 3 months, I want to be at least at 20K a month. And it sounds maybe like too modest, but you know, the 6,500 a month goal was also modest. So it's one of those things.
How about this? How about the time you turn 19, you're making 19K a week, which is 76 grand a month.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either be for you. Because you gotta, so you know, if I can give you one advice is when things get easy, go hard. It's one of the advice that I think Jason Fladlian give to Hormozy, right? And it's one of the things that stuck to me, right? Because if you look at how I've been able to grow client acquisition at IO, it's like I've never been passive with my goals. I've never been passive with how my intentions, like I've never been passively like building a business. No. It's on offense 24 fucking 7. Because what you don't realize is you know, you're young. So it's like you got time. So like, you know, even, you know, you don't even need to build a business really right now. But one thing I can tell you is you only get one shot at this. And even if you could get more shots at it, technically, I want you to think of it as like you only get one fucking shot at this thing. Right now, you have the potential to make 10K a month, right? That same 10K a month can be turned into 10K a day, right? So like for me, it's like, why would you gradually grow? Which to be honest, it is actually important to actually grow steadily and methodically. But when you're still at a smaller scale, you got to get big as fast as possible because you're going to need a lot of money to compete with everyone who's trying to get into this offer, especially after this interview releases, right? So like one thing you have to realize is that you're going to eventually need to get talent. This business is not going to be about you, right? You're probably going to grow it to like multiple 6 figures, maybe even 7 figures, but to go from 7 figures to 8 figures, if ever it is a goal of yours, you're going to need a shit ton of money to pay people to actually grow your company on your behalf. Now, imagine if all you do is coast for the next 3 years at 20K a month, 25K a month, maybe even 50K a month. Cool. Let's say you're making 15, 20K profit in your business every single month. That's an extra 200 grand, 250K, 300K a year, right? How many fucking people can you really even afford that 300K a year profit? No one. Right? So like, how about you profit 300 fucking grand a month? And you can go find C-level people who've actually done this before, who can make you rich while you're like, hey guys, like, you know, I'm just making YouTube videos.
Yeah. So what do you think is the next step then? Obviously kind of rounding things up.
I think, man, you shouldn't aim under 50 grand a month. Like it's like a hygiene standard. It's like if you're not making 50K a month, like it's just too painful to build a business and you know it. Like even right now, 10K a month, you probably are dealing with bullshit that like is not worth 10K a month, right?
Yeah.
So for me, my mindset is, you know, like, okay, cool, let's deal with this bullshit, but at least let me get rich while I deal with it. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to be patient. Like you generally do not need to wait until you're 20 to be making millions of dollars a year. Like you don't need to. All you need is just a choice. Be comfortable with setting fuck you money goals. Because I think, you know, this behavior that you just shared with your goals, like you're being passive with setting hard goals, big goals, but essentially like you gotta, and for me, I've realized this, but and maybe we can end on this, but like we have this thing that like we don't want to, I mean, at least for me, I never wanted to make other people feel small because of how big my goals were. So you kind of like want to keep it a normal, like an average goal, which 20K a month is not an average goal for anyone, at least, especially not at 19. But in business, it is kind of like a okay goal, right? It's like, okay, it's not that crazy, right? But why though? It's not like there's gravity. It's not like there is a law of physics telling you like, hey, at 19, you're not supposed to be making more than 20K a month. There isn't. So it's genuinely you making a choice. So like, well, if you're going to make a choice to set a 20K a month goal, set a 100K a month goal while you're at it. Because it's like, it's going to take you the same amount of 24 like you're going to have the same hours in a day. You're going to learn the same. You're going to ask the same questions, maybe different questions, but the process to scaling a business is the same, whether it's $1 million a month or $1 million a day. The answers are already there. But because you're aiming for 20K a month, you'll never figure out the answers to get into 200K a month.
Yeah, 100%.
So I just set bigger goals and just, like, stand behind your goals. Like, when you do set a goal, say like, hey, I want to fucking get this. Like, have conviction around the fact that you're going to do it inevitably. But for me, when I say I'm going to make $1 million a month, like, I'm not trying to please anyone. I'm just saying it as if it's a fucking fact. You know what I mean? So like, I have that kind of conviction, because bro, when I say I want to make $1 million a month and people watch this content or watch me on Instagram, some people literally like get pulled to wanting to come work for me just because they want to work with someone who's confident in the achievement of the fucking goal. Nobody wants to work for that pessimistic leader who's just wanting to, like, keep all the profits to themselves. They don't want to make it big, because the bigger the ship, the bigger the pie, the richer the people who are eating, the fatter they get. So like, if you're not bringing in a bunch of food for your team, they're not going to get fat. They're not going to feed their family. So like, talent actually want to go work and eat where the best food and the most amount of food is at. So if your goals are tiny, you're not going to get people who are actually going to get rich, make you rich. Because one thing I've realized is like, getting rich has nothing to do with how good you are. It has all to do about your team. So yeah. So like, set bigger goals just because it's in your best interest, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to end it off.
Yeah, man. No, cool, man. But yeah, man, super proud of what you've been able to do. You've been dialed in, like, you've been, just quiet, plugging away. And I think, making my first 10K a month was probably the proudest moment of start running my business. Like last year, 2021, when I did it, which is pretty funny that it was last year. Sometimes it's pretty insane. It's like, what the fuck? Times move fast, but it's really crazy how, things can change so fast. But when I made it, I was like, wow, I was on a cloud for a long moment, man. Right. But what I did is I just doubled down. The following month, I made 20K.
Yeah.
You can make 20K tomorrow, next month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm super proud. I think that first 10K a month is proof of concept. It gives you so much belief in yourself. At least it did for me, that you can actually achieve anything you want in life. And yeah, I never looked back. I just been plugging, just working at it ever since, and the rest is history, right? So yeah, man, just set bigger goals and just keep showing up every single day, right? But cool. I'm not sure if you had any last thing that you wanted to share.
I'm good. I think you just gotta live on the edge, work hard.
All right,
Do you think?
let's go, man. Awesome, man. No, thanks everyone for watching this. I think this one is a good one. I think people are really gonna enjoy it. And yeah, man, have an amazing day and keep killing it, man. We'll have another interview at 100K a month.
Yeah. See ya when I'm 19, I guess.
Yeah. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
Cheers.